Hello dear friends. Welcome to the channel. Before watching the video, please subscribe to the channel and like it. All in all, Prince Harry's keynote speech on July 18 at the United Nations in celebration of Nelson Mandela International Day was a decent strike, both for the Prince, for the Mandela Foundation that invited him, and for the UN. The Prince took great care to outline the particulars of the great man's monumental 27-year incarceration, quoting generously from Mandela, with, as ever, a nod to the Prince's mother, Diana, whose acquaintance with Mandela was a heartfelt one. Harry mentioned the photograph of Diana and Mandela together, laughing, comfortable in each other's presence at a meeting in 1997, a photo given to Harry by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, which Harry said he has on my wall and in my heart. Though Harry kept his focus on the subject of the man, the message there was that his mother was still with him and with us. The Prince enumerated several of the current crises facing Africa, from the historic drought on the Horn of Africa to the work of his own charity supporting children orphaned by HIV in Lesotho and Botswana, sent to bail. He kept the big issues, the biggest of which was Mandela's own global reach and unceasing activism, firmly in view. It was Harry at his best, straight arrow, heart on his sleeve, telling us what he thought. He closed with the words, "Let's seek out what we have in common, empower all people to reclaim our democracies, and harness the light of Mandela's memory to illuminate the way forward." Unashamedly idealistic, with a grand dollop of that extreme Diana-like ease of connection to all people, you could almost think that Harry's Mandela International Day speech was a bit of the old Harry prior to his abrupt and publicly bitter 2019-2020 departure from British monarchy and from his family. In an odd way, the speech somehow worked as evidence that other, original, charming Harry, the one who can effortlessly meld the personal and the political, still somehow exists. Except, if we can say that any man now suffers under heavy overhead, Prince Harry has racked up some heavy overhead, not the least part of which is his wife and family now that he's no longer a working royal. Meghan Markle may have money stashed away from her years in Canada as a television actress and lifestyle blogger, and it's to be hoped that she does. But whatever it is, that amount will not bear the freight even of her considerable carbon footprint, such as the private jets she took to and from the Queen's Jubilee in June, or even the prodigious staff ginning up content for Archwell's entertainment and media arms. On the surface, at least, there is no content from Archwell's for-profit content arms that is making money. Facing intense problems of its own, Netflix, having bit deep into the Windsors of Montecito enterprise with a reported $100 million, just cancelled Ms. Markle's one-show Pearl, an animated film that had been nearing production. Thanks for subscribing and liking. Harry seems to realize that he has to get out there and gin up some ducats. This is why, upon arrival in California and in Hollywood, in 2020 and 2021, Harry and his wife cut a veritable blizzard of deals, most famously with Netflix and Spotify, but also with the corporate mental health startup BetterUp, and on towards his inevitable Has Told to autobiography. The most immediately looming money-making projects in the pipeline are products of this new, rain-making Harry. The first is his As Told to autobiography with the Tender Bar author J.R. Muringer, a book that has now been rescheduled to become an anchor in the autumn book lists. The second, which will debut at some unspecified point when Netflix believes that it has enough narrative in the can, is the ongoing documentary reality show of Harry and Meghan behind the scenes as they manage their many global charitable efforts and commercial projects under the Archwell umbrella. Of the two projects, the book will arguably be the more explosive and, for Harry anyway, successful. But when we last visited some of the deals drawn and generated by the principals of the budding foundation political engagement engine entertainment production house self-betterment entity lifestyle empire, there was the problem of content. They haven't managed to make that problem go away. Concretely, that means that there is a large creme de la creme superstructure of Hollywood and Silicon Valley talent across Archwell's divisions. But aside from ongoing production work on the documentary Soul of Invictus, a documentary taking a deep dive, with Harry, into the 2020 Invictus Games, and aside from the continued work on the personal documentary reality show by Netflix and the couple, as well as the documentary series on mental health co-produced with Oprah, The Me You Can't See, there's been no product. The couple has a lot riding on this autobiography and on the Netflix documentary of their lives. In other words, part of the problem is that it's just plain hard to produce impactful content in any medium, And the difficulty is compounded when it is as difficult as it is to pinpoint what the production entity, Archwell, is actually meant to do. It's a very broadly cast, not-for-profit yet somewhat commercial media charity enterprise. And that problem has not gone away either. In fact, its many portfolios only seem to breed more portfolios, charitable and not. The second complication is that the couple are, admirably so, deeply politically engaged in a wide array of causes, some of which, such as Centibale, Harry's Lesotho and Botswana HIV orphan charity, per Invictus, are well established. But these efforts and many others take time and don't rake in the lucre. If we add to that their impulse to respond to societal problems as reflected in the breaking news, as in Meghan Markle's swift day trip from Los Angeles to the memorial for the school children in Uvalde, Texas, pictured above, it shouldn't seem a surprise that both Harry and Meghan Markle seem rushed and spread quite thin. It was en route to the Hague Invictus ceremony and games that they dropped by Windsor to reacquaint themselves and their children with the Queen. This picture isn't alleviated, in fact it is only intensified by the long-standing tensions between the Windsors of Montecito and the Windsors of Windsor. These tensions reached a high point with the March 2020 charges of racism leveled by the couple at Harry's family in the CBS interview with Oprah Winfrey. This brings us back to Harry's upcoming book, due out in a few short, breezy back-to-school weeks. For their part, the royal family is reported to be dreading the publication. Given the couple's history of pronouncements and accusations directed at the royal family over the last 2 years, both with Ms. Winfrey and to others such as CBS correspondent Gayle King, it would be fair to say that the senior courtiers to Charles and William will be girding for intense battle through the press again, naturally, with the Windsors of Montecito once the book drops. Exactly as happened in the tumult after the Oprah Winfrey interview? Write in the comments what you think about this. And at the end of the video I ask you to subscribe and like. Thank you.